Lena, I didn't remember how I left the ancestral hall. Only that the cold air outside hit my face like a slap, sharp and merciless, and suddenly I could breathe again, though each breath felt like it was tearing something open inside my chest. I was expecting for this to happen given that no matter what I would do, he won't look at me. But I wasn't expecting for him to do this at Grandma's funeral, and much more, in front of the high-ranking wolves as if I were nothing but someone worth to be humiliated by. And they both left earlier. The moonlight panted them in silver. They looked right, like something the pack would approve of. I hate that my eyes would always follow him. I hate that I noticed the way he leaned closer when she spoke. For noticing how his scent wrapped instinctively around hers, protective and familiar. Indeed, she was like a diamond that brightened their world, while I, just a pebble on the road. I let out a bitter chuckle, trying to contain all the emotions inside me. 3 years. Everything is just contractual in his eyes, but my feelings weren't. I was hoping. I was waiting for his eyes to fall in my direction, yet it fall on another woman's instead. I snapped from my thoughts when a sudden hug nearly broke my ribs when she hugged me. When I looked down, it was none other than Mara Whitlock. Despite the murmurs, mockery, and gossips, she stayed with me, protecting me, and even defended me in front of everyone. She was my best of friend, someone I completely trust. Are you okay? I heard what happened. Her voice raised. What kind of alpha does that? At a funeral? Really? He might as well have ripped your throat out in front of everyone. I paused, watching as she paced the length of my living room, gritting her teeth as her whole body exudes with killing intent. It seems that rumors spread faster, I softly answered as I sat on the couch. I already expected for this to happen. That doesn't make it better. Mara spun toward me. You gave him 3 years, Lyra. 3 years. You rebuilt yourself for him. You endured everything for him. And he didn't even have the decency to do this privately. I pursed my lips. I was the one who agreed to Grandma. I let out a bitter chuckle. I shouldn't expect something from him, knowing that everything was just contractual, and this bound to end like what happened now. It's my fault. Fault for falling in love with someone I couldn't have. Idiot. I paused, raising my head at Mara. That doesn't give him the right to humiliate you in front of everyone. You are the one who saved their reputation, helped his pack rise, and remained loyal to him in those 3 years, and that's how he would repay you. Humiliation. I didn't comment. I hung my shoulder lower. I felt her let out a helpless sigh, her anger softening as her hand reached out, gently patting my head. Cry, she said gently. You are safe. No one is watching aside from me. Don't suppress yourself. That did it. The tears came without warning even when I didn't want to. I pressed my lips together, but it was useless. They spilled over anyway, blurring my vision. I wasn't enough, I whispered. Mara knelt in front of me instantly. It's not true. I tried so hard, I continued hoarsely. I learned to cook what he liked. I adjusted my schedule to match his. I exercised every day, thinking that he might prefer skinny Lunas. I devout myself into training despite it being harsh, just to be his perfect Luna. I thought that maybe one day he will choose. Stop, Mara said fiercely. You didn't lose him. He never chose you. Those words slashed through my heart, cutting me to pieces. Yet I couldn't retort it, because they were true. I wiped my face, forcing myself to breath. He looked at her, the way he never looked at me. Mara swore under her breath. He brought that woman too. I nodded. They looked good together, I pressed my lips. Strong and beautiful. Mara scoffed. She's just a two-faced bitch, clinging to the alpha right after her mate died. I managed a weak smile, closing my eyes as I leaned on the sofa. She's the alpha's first love. Right. What right do I have to intervene between the two of them? I'm just nothing but a Luna in name only. And how could I fight and win the position in his heart when it was already occupied with another woman? I was too foolish. Come with me tomorrow, Mara continued suddenly. We'll go out. Get you something new and so, to everyone that you weren't affected by today's event. I hesitate. I don't have the spark to go out. However, she doesn't accept my refusal. I'll come back tomorrow morning, so make sure to have plenty of rest. The next morning, I found myself standing beside Mara, who chatters endlessly along with the crowd while from time to time, She would bared her fangs and glared at those who looked at me and gossips in front of my face. I let out a helpless chuckle and followed her along. For some reason, my heart weren't as heavy last night. I allowed myself to enjoy as Mara dragged me into a high-end boutique. "Let's buy everything," she declared. I chuckled. That will be too much. When we stepped inside the store, my gaze wandered around while taking a deep breath, trying to ignore the faint stinging on my chest while raising my dopamine to look excited like I forgot everything. However, the smile on my face froze when I felt such a familiar pressure. That unmistakable alpha presence. My steps slowed. Mara noticed immediately. "Lyra." I lifted my head. Across the store, near the display of limited edition bags, Alaric stood with Hydra. Again. She was clinging to his arms, her fingers curled possessively against his sleeve. She laughed at something he said, her body angled toward him intimately. A sales associate hovered nearby, nervous and eager, waiting for their decision. "I want that one," I heard Hydra said, pointing to a deep red bag. "It suits me, don't you think?" Alaric barely glanced at it. "Wrap it," he said. "Just like Tha." There was no hesitation. My chest tightened. Before I could look away and took Mara to another shop, I saw her clenched her fist. "Oh, absolutely not," I heard her muttered, already marching forward. Mara too late. I helplessly watched as she slammed her black card onto the counter beside the red bag. "We'll take that one too." The sales associate blinked. "Excuse me." "The same bag," Mara said sweetly. "Unless there's a rule about mistresses shopping first." I watched as Hydra's smile faltered. The corner of her eyes reddened as she tightened the hold on Alaric's sleeve. This action made Alaric's head snapped up. His eyes precisely fell on me. Cold and disgusted. So this was all it takes for him to look at me. Only her could make him look at me. I let out a laugh in mockery. "What do I expect?" "Alina," his brows furrowed, and the way he pronounced my name was filled with warning that made my breath hitch. I pursed my lips, stepping forward as I placed a hand on Mara's arm. "We're leaving." Mara looked ready to argue, but when I gave her a look, she sighed helplessly and nodded. However, before we could leave, Hydra stepped forward. "We meet again," she said lightly. "It seems fate keeps arranging these encounters." I paused, meeting her gaze before falling onto Alaric's. "No," I said. "Fate has better taste." Her smile faltered. My gaze fell onto Alaric, and despite everything, there was no turmoil in those eyes, as if none worth his time. Especially when he looked at me as if I were just a mere stranger in his eyes. I pursed my lips, hiding the stinging sensation of my heart, forcing myself to remain polite in front of them. "I apologize for disrupting your quality time with your woman. It won't happen again." Without hesitation, I turned around and was about to leave when something inside me rose. A sudden warmth bloomed in my chest, spreading outward, unfamiliar and overwhelming. My heartbeat quickened at the process. My wolf stirred, pressing against the surface of my control that made me pause. "What?" I heard Alaric's voice that made me turn to look at him. When I saw him reach to me, I took a step back, startled by my own reaction. Sensation vanished as quickly as it came, but the damage was done. He was staring at me now, the way I had longed for him to do so. "I'm sorry. I won't disrupt you any longer." This time, I hurriedly took Mara and left the store. "What was that?" she asked. I shook my head, pressing my palm against my chest. "I don't know either."